Well, this is a wonderful property. Beautiful facade, balanced either side, and looks rather like you found on the Greek Acropolis. Or is it the Parthenon? Forget, one or the other. And you see this repeated through British architecture. Of course, the most famous edifice is at the Bank of England. This particular example, this wonderful property, is very similar to those I've filmed in Birkenhead and mentioned in my Birkenhead videos. I think it's around the 1840s, 50s, that type of period. And it is Holyhead, the ferry crossing to Dublin. And here is the view that it once enjoyed from the upper windows. And this is Holyhead Harbour. Notice that wonderful breakwater, the harbour wall, 1¼ miles long. And I believe I'm told it's the longest in the UK. That is Holyhead Marina. Beyond that is the ferry port. And connected to the ferry port is the railway station. The house is named Port House, and was built, I understand, for the port officer who resided here and ran Holyhead Port. In its eminence in the mid-1800s for about 100 years. Splendid looking residence. My particular fascination with the house is that General Grant, later to become President of the USA after the civil conflict that took place, the Civil War, visited Dublin and travelled from London to Holyhead by train, and I think, from what I've told from local legend, that it was also called Grant House. So I suspect that General Grant was invited to stay overnight before taking the packet steamer to Dublin. And the Dublin packet would have taken him outside the harbour wall and across to Ireland. The visit to Ireland by General Grant was seen as somewhat controversial, so I understand from what I have read. But I believe the connection with General Grant to the British Parliament was probably a great deal more intriguing than is generally understood. Ireland was the furthest point west where a telegraph cable had been connected to North America, the transatlantic cable. It's quite intriguing. That was laid, and apparently that was before the Civil War in America, and apparently the cable operated once and then no longer operated during the period of the Civil War, if you can believe that. But possibly it was working, and it perhaps should be remembered that we had, in the previous 30 years, acquired our empire in India and found the benefits of owning a country was generally beneficial to Britain. possible that the vast wealth that was created after the Napoleonic Wars at the Battle of Waterloo, which made a well-known banking family, apparently the Rothschilds, the richest people in the world, perhaps are interested in who won the Civil War in America. And looking at General Grant and his connection with a Republican ultra right-wing group, oh dear, sounds very intriguing, perhaps explains that Britain, UK, has more connections with America for a longer period than we perhaps thought. I just put this forward for those who are interested in following American history, going back on American history, and perhaps discovering a little bit more of our undying affection between the UK and America. But it's a splendid property, and anyone visiting and intending to travel to Ireland, it's well worth spending a few days in Holyhead and exploring. It's an incredible place with wonderful scenery and very interesting architecture and wonderful hospitality. I found it a wonderful stay, and I make it a regular stopover.